The story begins with a second-year high school student named Kurosei Tsunagu, who anxiously scrolls through the comments on his video. He's passionate about desktop music production, but his subscriber count is so low that even his family restaurant's daily specials have more fans. His face falls as he reads the negative feedback. However, his expression quickly shifts to one of delight when he notices a comment from a user who praises his song and mentions listening to it daily. Feeling a rare sense of encouragement, he plugs in his earphones and begins listening to the songs of his favorite singer, Icy, a YouTuber with over 50,000 subscribers. Immersed in her music, he makes his way to school, completely absorbed in the melody. Lost in thought, he bounces off Saya, his classmate, like a rubber ball hitting a wall of pure ego. Saya, whose hobby is playing the guitar and who boasts a considerable following of 30,000 subscribers, reacts with annoyance. He shoves Kurosei aside with an air of irritation before walking away without another word. Kurosei then overhears Sia and Nin discussing her song, which has impressively garnered 50,000 views, boosting her subscriber count to 100,000. Saya casually mentions that he was the one who wrote the lyrics for her song, while she confidently states that she, too, plans to make a remarkable impact at the upcoming school festival. Kurosei, standing nearby, listens quietly, merely an observer of their conversation. As the noise of his extroverted classmates fills the room, he sits at his desk, feeling the stark contrast between himself and the lively atmosphere around him. The teacher soon enters and announces the need for one male and one female student to handle documentation for the festival. She asks the class if anyone is interested in volunteering. A classmate suggests Hinamori-san, Kurosei's deskmate, as a suitable candidate. Saya then calls out that Kurosei would make a great partner for her. Kurosei, upon hearing his name being called, sighs internally. His soul leaves his body for a brief vacation before reluctantly returning to accept his fate. The teacher agrees with Saya's suggestion, and both Kurosei and Hinamori comply without resistance. Deep inside, he harbors resentment toward extroverts like Saya, who always seem to dominate and make life difficult for introverts like himself. He reflects on his own standing, both online and in real life, feeling as though he is perpetually at the bottom. A sudden camera shutter sound catches his attention. He turns to see Hinamori holding a camera goes crazy, snapping pictures like a nosy squirrel who just discovered a stash of stolen acorns. He quickly fixes the issue, surprising her. She thanks him with wide-eyed admiration, calling him amazing. The unexpected compliment leaves him slightly pleased. At that moment, his childhood friend, Tamura Tetsu, calls out to him from the window. Tetsu, a member of the broadcasting club from the neighboring class, enthusiastically tells Kurosei that the background music he provided sounded great. He admits his lack of musical knowledge and asks for Kurosei's help. He jokingly tells him to make the request while pretending to cry, explaining that the broadcasting club is responsible for the auditorium's equipment during the festival. His dramatically acting is so Oscar-worthy, even the classroom goldfish pauses to appreciate him. Kurosei agrees to help, and when he mentions that all the songs he provided were his own compositions, Tetsu is astonished. He exclaims at Kurosei's dedication, but he clarifies that the songs are instrumental and require significant effort to prepare for the festival. As their conversation continues, Kurosei notices Hinamori snapping pictures of him. A whisper reaches his ears, suggesting that Kurosei is a musician. Feeling drained, he returns home to his family's restaurant, where his mother, Kanae, and younger sister, Yuzuki, warmly welcome him. Yuzuki, a first-year high school student with 200,000 WeTube subscribers, is passionate about dancing. Their mother thanks them for their help at the restaurant. Yuzuki excitedly asks Kurosei if he plans to perform on stage at the festival, suggesting he play the guitar. Their mother chimes in, affirming that he should. However, he immediately dismisses the idea, telling his sister that she has sweet sauce on her bangs. Yuzuki panics and vanishes at light speed, as if her entire reputation depends on perfectly clean hair. Their mother reminds Tsunagu that he should go to his room and practice his DDR, but he corrects her, stating that it is actually called DTM, desktop music. He recalls that he started this process years ago. In 4th grade, he composed his first piece, which his father, a rock band member and guitar instructor, had encouraged. From that moment on, Kurosei dedicated himself to improving his craft. He remembers a significant moment from his first year of high school when Amano attended the recital where Kurosei was to present his guitar piece. However, moments before his performance, he received the devastating news of his father's death in a traffic accident, rumored to have been caused by one of his father's band members. That day was meant to be his breakthrough moment, but it was forever lost. In the present, Kurose and Hinamori take pictures for the festival documentation. When he suggests they should also take pictures of the auditorium, he feels relieved that their limited conversation makes the task easier. Arriving at the auditorium, they witness a performance announcement, but Kurose is stunned to realize that the audience is listening to one of his compositions. Overwhelmed with happiness, he reassures himself that his songs are worth listening to. He continues taking pictures when he finds his sister's hairpin in his pocket. Finding it inconvenient, he hands it to Hinamori before running off to see if anyone else is listening to his music. On the other side of the stage, Tetsu is in a panic, yelling because Amano and Momochi from Class A have not arrived yet. Seeing Kurose, Tetsu explains the situation, worried about the delayed performance. Kurose suggests playing one of his instrumental songs as an alternative, thinking that if it's danceable, it can temporarily hold the audience's attention. Tetsu excitedly agrees and prepares to play Kurose's song at full volume. Just as the announcement declares a delay in the scheduled performance, Yuzuki, sitting with their mother, curiously watches. The song begins, and the audience enjoys it, until distorted and unpleasant vocals suddenly blare from the speakers. Confused and dismayed, people start murmuring, wondering what has gone wrong. Kurose, realizing in horror that his temporary recording has been mistakenly played. His expression shifts from mildly worried to someone just set his entire career on fire. The correct song is played, but the audience remains skeptical. Kurose, humiliated, crouches down, burying his head in his arms. He recalls the harsh comments on his channel, thinking that perhaps they were right, that he is nothing more than a failure. At that moment, a girl approaches him and firmly tells him to stand up, encouraging him to be proud of his work. He looks up, watching in shock as she steps onto the stage. As she begins to sing, Kurose is astonished. It is Icy, performing to his composition. The audience is captivated by her powerful voice. He watches in disbelief, wondering why the singer he admires is performing his song. His gaze falls on the hairpin, realizing the truth. Icy is actually his classmate, Hinamori. Seeing this, his brain does the mental equivalent of a Windows error message before forcefully rebooting. As he watches her confident stage presence, he is struck by how different she seems from the quiet and unnoticed girl he sits beside in class. Just then, Amano and his partner finally arrive, shocked to find someone else performing in their slot. Seizing the moment, Kurose grabs a guitar and joins Hinamori on stage. Inspired by her confidence, he finds himself playing without hesitation. Together, they create an electrifying performance, thrilling the audience. His mother and sister watch with pride, Yuzuki excitedly recording the event. As the performance reaches its climax, Kurose feels an exhilarating sense of fulfillment. The crowd erupts in applause, and the cheers are unending. Later, he checks his phone to find that Yuzuki's live stream of their performance has skyrocketed in views, garnering praise and admiration. Lost in excitement, he accidentally trips over a wire and collides with Hinamori. For him in this situation, if embarrassment were an Olympic sport, he'd have just secured the gold medal. At that moment, he finally realizes the truth. His quiet, gloomy classmate is the talented singer he has admired all along. Looking at her, he thinks to himself that this goddess who has entered his dull musical life is about to bring a revolution. Their performance video quickly reaches 1 million views on YouTube, marking the beginning of an incredible new chapter for both of them. Kurose lies on the ground, dazed, with Hinamori bending knees over him, trying to convey something. She tells him that she is none other than the singer named Icy. In a sudden rush of excitement, he shouts only to realize that he is still in class, where the teacher glares at him like he just confessed to a crime and sternly tells him to pull himself together since the cultural festival is over. Sitting back down, Kurose feels the weight of embarrassment settling in, but his thoughts immediately shift to the girl sitting beside him. Ever since their performance at the festival and their awkward fall, he has not spoken to Hinamori again, despite having many questions for her. His ears catch the sound of his classmates gossiping about the festival performance video, which has reached a staggering 1 million views and is now trending on WeTube. One said that she vanished before he could even ask for her number. The comments and reactions have only amplified the video's hype. Listening to all this, Kurose reflects that his dream of sharing his music with a vast audience has come true. But he knows this achievement is not his alone. Nearby, his classmates speculate about the unknown vocal girl, discussing how she was not only talented but also incredibly cute. Some of them consider asking Kurose about her, But before they can, Hinamori discreetly hands him a note instructing him to keep it a secret. When his classmates finally approach him with their questions, he feigns ignorance, claiming he does not know the girl either, since they only performed together at the last minute. He somehow manages to convince them, though he had not expected his classmates to praise him so much. The conversation makes him consider uploading the video to his own account, but he decides to wait until Hinamori sings his songs again. Determined, Kurosei writes a request in his notebook for Hinamori to sing his songs once more, but he doubts she will agree. When she reads it, she responds in writing that she hates singing. Without further discussion, she returns to her work, remaining that way until the school day ends. Later, Kurosei heads to his family's restaurant, frying chicken while lost in thought. He mentions to his sister that if someone does not like fried chicken, they will never open a restaurant. Likewise, if someone does not like singing, they should not pursue it. But the situation with Hinamori feels odd to him. Someone with her voice and presence should be at the top of the school's hierarchy, yet she chooses to remain hidden. Just then, an order comes in, pulling his attention back to work. To his shock, the person placing the order is none other than Hinamori. His mind freezes as she casually asks if he works part-time there, to which he replies that this is actually his home. She takes her coffee and sits down, giving Kurosei the perfect opportunity to convince her to sing again. He momentarily wonders if convincing Hinamori is harder than frying chicken without getting oil on his face. As she removes her glasses, which have become foggy, he walks over and expresses his wish for her to sing his song seriously. At that moment, his sister spots Hinamori without her glasses and immediately recognizes her as the girl from the festival. Excited, she rushes over, gasps as if she just discovered a long-lost celebrity, introduces herself as Kurosei's sibling, and compliments Hinamori's performance. Noticing a hairpin on the table, she recognizes it as hers, but tells Hinamori that she can keep it. Suddenly making an excuse, she dashes off to tell their mother that Kurosei has brought a girl home, shocking their mother, who finds it hard to believe. Meanwhile, as Hinamori eats, she acknowledges his seriousness but insists that she is not interested. Across the room, his mother and sister continue whispering, suspecting that Kurosei may have a one-sided crush and is about to confess. They try to signal to him to do his best, but he is focused on something else entirely. He leads Hinamori to his room, where she expresses her desire to leave. Before she can continue, Kurosei interrupts, revealing that he knows she is icy, but he wants to understand why she sang his song and why she hid her identity. Hinamori tells him not to bombard her with questions all at once. Apologizing, he admits that he is a fan of Icy's songs. Deep inside, Hinamori knows she cannot reveal the truth, that her mother does not allow her to pursue music and insists that she focus on her studies. Kurosei notices her lost in her thoughts and calls out to her, but she deflects by asking about his room. He explains that the old music equipment belonged to his father. When she asks more about him, he shares that his father was in a band but is no longer with them. Feeling awkward, she apologizes, but he brushes it off, saying that he was just a child back then. Trying to divert the conversation from her own life, Hinamori starts asking Kurosei about his daily routine and various other questions. He tells her about the instrumental piece he is currently working on and plays it for her. She finds it fascinating and praises the genre mix. Listening intently, she starts analyzing how he blended the elements and even offers suggestions on how he could improve it. Impressed by her keen musical sense, Kurosei is even more convinced that she is an extraordinary talent. As he watches her, he questions himself, wondering why he ever thought someone like her would sing his songs. Perhaps the vocalist could be someone else, but before he can dwell on it, Hinamori surprises him by saying that his songs are great because they have a sense of freedom. He is unsure whether she is praising him or dismissing him. Suddenly, Hinamori accidentally knocks over a juice cup, losing her balance, as she falls and heroically saves Kurosei's music equipment, but ends up with juice all over her shirt. He quickly offers to get her a towel and suggests she use the bathroom. She tries to clean her shirt, but the stain does not come off easily. Realizing her inner clothes are wet as well, she takes one of his t-shirts and puts it on. When she steps out of the bathroom, Kurosei is lost in thought, adjusting music settings on his computer. She calls out to him and thanks him, but he does not hear her due to his headphones. Taking them off, he eagerly tells her that he has incorporated all her feedback and plays the song again. As Hinamori listens, her eyes widen. He has improved it significantly. Kurosei credits her for pointing out the mistakes he would not have noticed on his own. Drawn into the music, Hinamori unconsciously starts singing along, seamlessly blending her vocals with the track. Kurosei sits frozen, looking at her like he just witnessed a unicorn do a backflip. Without thinking, he moves closer and expresses his wish to record her voice. She refuses, reminding him that she has already said no. He pleads with her to just sing the chorus once, and after some hesitation she agrees. They record the song together, and Kurosei is completely captivated by her voice. Hinamori notices his expression and asks why he is reacting that way. He tells her that he could tell from the festival performance she truly loves singing. She panics and denies it, but he insists that when she sings, she radiates joy. He declares that music never lies. Hearing this, Hinamori momentarily gazes at herself, lost in thought. As he leans in, determined to convince her, the wire from her headphones suddenly pulls loose, causing an unexpected force that makes her fall. Kurosei tries to catch her but ends up toppling over her. His inappropriate remark earns him a loud, soul-crushing slap that echoes through the room and his dignity. Later, he hands Hinamori her packed order, and she remarks that she might never come back. Meanwhile, his mother and sister continue gossiping like they just heard the biggest plot twist of the century. Kurosei, however, is left with the thought that maybe now he can write even better songs. That night, he uploads the chorus they recorded together, receiving positive comments. Elsewhere, Hinamori sits in deep thought, recalling Kurosei's words. Looking at a picture she took of him at school, she realizes that Kurosei is someone who truly lights up when it comes to music. Anonymously, she leaves a comment on his video, admitting that she likes his songs. The school day is in full swing, and inside the classroom, the students are animatedly discussing Kurosei's latest song. The air is filled with excitement as they chat about its melody and meaning. However, on the other side of the room, a heavy silence lingers between Kurosei and Hinamori. Seated at their respective desks, they remain awkwardly quiet, avoiding each other's gaze. Kurosei's mind races with thoughts, wondering if Hinamori is upset with him because of what happened the previous day. The possibility unsettles him, but even amidst his worry, he finds himself admiring her appearance. His eyes linger on her as he contemplates her silence. If this continues, how will he ever convince her to sing his new song? The very aura around her seems to radiate tension, making it even harder to approach her. Deep down, he wishes she would listen to the song he uploaded the night before. Before he can think any further, the class begins, offering him a temporary escape from his growing anxiety. He reassures himself that there will be plenty of opportunities to talk to Hinamori later. As time passes, the bell rings, signaling the start of break time. Without a word, Hinamori rises from her seat and heads for the door. Kurosei watches her go and immediately calls out to her, but she doesn't acknowledge him. Her deliberate ignorance stings, and he can't shake the feeling that she is intentionally avoiding him. Determined not to let this silence persist, he springs to his feet and rushes after her. Hinamori quickens her pace like she just remembered she left the stove on at home. With a sharp glance over her shoulder, she tells him to stop trailing behind her. But Kurosei doesn't give up. He catches up to her and grabs her wrist, urging her to at least listen to what he has to say. She turns abruptly, and in that moment of unsteadiness, they both lose their balance and topple to the floor. Looks like they're reenacting a dramatic movie scene, except way clumsier. Hinamori's eyes widen when she realizes he is still holding her hand. A faint blush creeps onto her cheeks. Kurosei quickly apologizes, his voice filled with sincerity. He admits that he feels embarrassed about what happened the previous night and just wants to apologize properly, especially since she seems angry. However, Hinamori calmly tells him that she isn't actually mad, so he can let go of her hand now. Noticing their still joined hands, Kurosei immediately releases her grip, fumbling for an explanation. He blurts out that he only grabbed her hand because she was running away. In the midst of his flustered state, he notes her glasses have cracked, and now everything is blurry, including his dignity. Hinamori, however, remains unfazed. She assures him that it's no big deal since school is over for the day, and she can deal with it later. Straightening up, she finally acknowledges him properly and asks which song he wants her to listen to. They both settle down on a nearby bench, and Kurosei hands her his phone, playing the song he uploaded the night before. Hinamori listens intently, remaining silent for a long while. Kurosei watches her closely, puzzled by how focused she is. He wonders if she's analyzing the song or just waiting for a hidden message from aliens. But before he can ask, she speaks. She tells him that the song makes her feel as if she's deep under the ocean at first, surrounded by vast, unknown depths. Then, as the melody progresses, it carries her up, rising to the ocean's surface. Kurose is momentarily stunned by her interpretation. She continues, expressing how beautiful the song is even without lyrics. The buzzing sound in the background, she explains, makes her feel as if she's submerged underwater, drifting along with the current. Curious, she asks him about the sound's origin. Kurose explains that it was created using a synth. When she asks what that means, he elaborates, describing a synthesizer as an instrument that generates and modifies sounds to produce different audio effects. As he talks, he introduces her to an app that allows users to experiment with these sounds, showing her how it works. Intrigued, Hinamori asks him if he can create the sound of trickling water. Kurose takes the challenge seriously and begins adjusting the settings. After a few careful tweaks, a perfect combination of sounds emerges, a melody that captures the serenity of flowing water. They both listen in awe, pleasantly surprised by how well it fits. Kurose mentions that he still needs to refine the sound and start working on the lyrics. Meanwhile, Hinamori remarks that the new combination has created an immersive deep-sea atmosphere, something she finds incredibly captivating. Kurose feels a surge of happiness at her reaction. If it weren't for her insight, this song wouldn't have come to life the way it did. Curious, Hinamori suddenly asks why he composed this song while thinking about her. Kurose panics. This is dangerously close to sounding like a confession, and he's not emotionally prepared for that level of drama. He tells her that an image of her appeared in his mind last night, and he couldn't believe how much had happened between them in just one day. He confesses that whenever he thinks about her, he loses himself completely. Hinamori's cheeks flush at his words, and she stares at him in shock. She asks what he means by that. He explains that it usually takes him a month to compose a song, but the idea of having her sing it kept appearing in his thoughts, fueling his inspiration. Thoughts of her kept emerging, shaping his songs in unexpected ways. As the realization of his words sinks in, Hinamori remains speechless, her heart pounding. For the first time, he has experienced this feeling unlike anything before. As he processes this unfamiliar sensation, Hinamori tells him that it is her first time feeling this way as well. Her thoughts drift back to the previous day, recalling how much she had enjoyed visiting Kurose's house. There had been an unexpected lightness in her heart, a rare sense of ease she hadn't felt in a long time. She remembers the moment she laid eyes on Kurose's keyboard, how, for the first time, her fingers hadn't trembled when she touched it. The realization lingers in her mind. Was it just a coincidence, or was it because Kurose had been nearby? Before she can dwell on it further, her peaceful moment shatters as a group of boys spot her, pointing like they've just discovered a rare Pokémon. Their voices rise with recognition as they excitedly point in her direction, identifying her as the same beautiful girl who had performed at the festival. A sudden sense of alertness washes over her. Without hesitation, she grabs Kurose's hand and quickly pulls him away. 1 second, Kurose is standing still. The next, he's being yanked like an unsuspecting extra in an action movie chase scene, making a swift escape from the prying eyes. As they run, Kurose's own thoughts are in turmoil. He realizes that this is the first time he has ever held a girl's hand. His brain short-circuits thinking about it. A few moments later, they stop to catch their breath. Without thinking, Kurose speaks his mind, asking why someone as cute as Hinamori insists on hiding herself. The words slip out before he can stop them, and he immediately regrets the question, fearing he may have crossed a line. However, Hinamori's response surprises him. She explains that it is better this way, that she prefers to keep her distance from people, avoiding unnecessary interactions. Before she can continue, Kurose suddenly places a hand over her mouth, silencing her. His voice is low and urgent as he warns her to stay quiet. Someone is approaching. The two of them hurriedly squeeze into a nearby locker, making it the world's most awkward and least spacious hiding spot. Outside, Amano and his friends walk past, engaged in conversation about the festival performance. Kurose listens in silence as Amano mocks him, his words laced with contempt. Amano scoffs, calling Kurose an eyesore. Ever since his father passed away back in elementary school, he's been nothing but a gloomy downer, always dragging the mood down. It's irritating. And now, on top of that, he even ruined Amano's stage performance. That nerd is getting way too full of himself. Hinamori stiffens, her patience snapping at Amano's cruel words. Unable to remain hidden any longer, she suddenly pushes the locker door open and steps out, her voice sharp with defiance. She declares that, in her eyes, the true loser is someone who talks behind others' backs. Amano and his friends turn in shock, recognizing her instantly. They murmur amongst themselves. She is the same vocalist from the festival. Intrigued, Amano steps forward, his demeanor shifting as he suggests that she should join him instead. Before Hinamori can respond, Kurose emerges from a locker like a dramatic protagonist, only to awkwardly bump his head on the way out. His expression is unreadable as he addresses Amano, commenting on the strange coincidence of running into him here. Kurose mentions that they are leaving and begins to walk away. Amano's voice follows after them, dismissing Kurose entirely. He coldly states, "I've no business with you." Hinamori doesn't miss a beat. Without turning around, she throws the exact same words back at him before continuing forward. Amano remains frozen in place, his frustration evident as he watches them leave. Meanwhile, Kurose and Hinamori exit the school building, stepping into the fresh air outside. As they walk, Kurose warns her to stay away from Amano. His tone is serious, laced with concern. But before he can say anything more, Hinamori suddenly throws the borrowed shirt she had taken from him straight into his face like she is assaulting by flying fabric. The shirt lands on his face like it's making a surprise attack. Her expression is playful as she questions whether he is frustrated. Then, as if sensing the need to lighten the mood, she offers an idea. Perhaps they should go to the Marine Palace Aquarium the next day, surprising him. Hinamori sends a message, letting Kurose know that she has arrived. But Kurose isn't there yet. Instead, he stands before a penguin statue as if the statue holds the answers to life's greatest mysteries. For some reason, this is the first time he has willingly come to meet a girl. The thought lingers in his mind. Does this count as a date? But then, the memory of that slap flashes through his mind, and he quickly dismisses the idea. Nearby, a few boys notice Hinamori. They whisper among themselves, admiring her cuteness. Just then, our lad notes that she looks different today, more charming than usual. The boys muster up the courage to approach her, asking if she would like to join them. Without hesitation, Hinamori reaches for Kurose's hand as she spots him, firmly declaring that she is on a date with him. The words catch Kurose completely off guard, his face heating up like a microwave burrito. The boys, realizing their mistake, quickly walk away. Kurose, still flustered, hesitates for a moment before attempting to clarify what she just said. But before he can finish his question, she interrupts him, asking if this is his first time at the aquarium. He confirms that it is. She nods, saying it is her first time too. She had decided to come after hearing her classmates talk about it. As they step inside, Hinamori's eyes immediately catch sight of the jellyfish exhibit. She finds them incredibly pretty and, with excitement, asks Kurose which one he likes. He silently gestures toward one, pointing at it. The creature he points to is an anglerfish, telling her that it looks like her. Hinamori gives him a long stare, as if reconsidering all her life choices. There is an information panel beside it, detailing its characteristics. Kurose, without a word, pulls out his phone and opens the memo pad, where he has noted a few things. He shows it to Hinamori and suggests that their unit should have a name. Hinamori considers the idea for a moment before advising him not to decide things on his own. She reminds him that she still hasn't signed for his songs yet. Kurose, however, is thinking about something else entirely when suddenly, Hinamori rushes toward him, shouting that everything is in the wrong order. Her voice is filled with frustration as she insists that he needs to write better songs first. She questions whether he is even thinking properly about all of this. Kurose, startled by her intensity, quickly responds with confidence, saying of course. But internally, he realizes that he had planned to sit down and write lyrics that evening. However, thanks to this arrogant queen, that plan has now been ruined. As they continue through the aquarium, they find themselves admiring different fish. The sight of marine life captivates them both, filling them with excitement. At one point, Hinamori spots a turtle swimming towards her. She beams with joy, claiming that the turtle just waved at her. Later, outside the restroom, Kurose stands idly, reflecting on the experience. He isn't sure if he has particularly enjoyed it, but it is clear that Hinamori has. He thinks about how different she is from the version of herself in class. At that moment, a little girl approaches him, crying because she has lost her father. Kurose, feeling slightly awkward, tells her to stop crying, but she refuses to listen. Meanwhile, a song reaches his ears from a distance. He pays attention and recognizes it. It is an anime theme song. An idea forms in his mind. He starts singing, hoping that the familiar tune will calm the child. However, the girl cries even louder, as if personally offended by his off-key attempt. Before he can react, Hinamori appears beside him. She corrects his lyrics and joins in, singing with perfect precision. The moment Kurose hears her voice, he is taken aback. This is no ordinary person singing. This is something special. The little girl, captivated by Hinamori's voice, stops crying and begins to join in, clapping along happily. Her tears disappear as joy takes their place. She explains that she had been sad because of her father, but thanks to Winnie-chan, she feels much better now. Hinamori kneels beside her, telling her that the real reason she feels better is because of music. Music has the power to make people smile. Seeing the girl calm down, he starts searching for her father. Eventually, they both set out to find him. A little while later, Hinamori returns and thanks Kurose for waiting. As they walk, their conversation drifts toward the anime theme song. Hinamori mentions that it has become quite famous and even collaborated with the aquarium. Kurose agrees, praising the song. He insists that it is no ordinary tune, it is about friendship, and its soundtrack is incredibly catchy. He also shares that his sister loves the song, and they used to watch the show together. Midway through his explanation, he pauses, realizing he has been talking too much. A sudden worry creeps into his mind. What if he sounds creepy? But before he can dwell on the thought, Hinamori's expression brightens. She excitedly tells him that she used to watch the same show. Curious, she asks him which song from the anime is his favorite. At the exact same moment, both of them say the same song title. For a second, they just stare at each other, as if realizing they might be long-lost anime protagonists. Kurose recalls a memory, explaining that the first time he heard that song was when his sister had been crying over a ruined origami. But when she listened to the song, her mood instantly lifted. He believes that the song carries an incredibly positive energy. Then, as if revealing a secret, he admits that one of his dreams is to write theme songs for anime. But right after saying it, he worries that Hinamori might laugh at him. Trying to play it off, he quickly adds, "Just kidding." However, Hinamori does not laugh. Instead, she praises his dream, telling him that she truly believes he will accomplish it one day. Before the moment can linger, Kurose abruptly changes the subject. He points towards a nearby restaurant and suggests that it is lunchtime, and they should head there. As they start walking, he realizes something. This is the first time he has shared so much about himself with someone else.